Hello, my name is Louis Griffith, and I am currently the Director of International Security Studies for the Korbel School. We want to thank you for selecting us for your professional education, and let me just welcome you to the school. The purpose of this video is to sort of address the kinds of questions I wish you knew to ask before you get here, if that makes any sense. So there are three of those, and we might as well start with the most obvious one that most students would like to know. Who is my advisor? Well, this is an easy one. I am. Yes, that's right. If you're watching this video because you're a security student, you're stuck with me. I'm everybody's advisor. Let me explain what that means. What that means is that while we hope you form phenomenal relationships that go on for decades, if hopefully, with all the faculty here in the Korbel Security Program or across the entire school, for administrative purposes, the Korbel program has gone to a single reference point model, meaning when somebody says, I need your advisor's signature on, or get your advisor to deal with that, or find that form, get your advisor to write it, you only have one of those. That's me. Any questions about what's going to be on the schedule in the future, or how do I resolve this particular administrative problem, or what do I do about this particular requirement or hours? With very few exceptions, your best bet is to come help me do my job. And I actually really like my job. The other place to know for these sorts of information is Student Affairs. Student Affairs handles all the reference material and actually does most of the actual administrative work. And the Student Affairs portfolio page, sort of an internal website, if you will, is a reference point you should become really familiar with because it has probably all those forms that need my signature or all those various other pieces of paperwork that you'd like to talk to me about on it. But in short, if you come to the Korbel School and you're in the security program and you have a question about how to proceed through the security program or choices you should make in the security program or how the security program choices would affect how you would position yourself for the future, the first place, unless you have somebody else in mind, is always my door, and I'm always happy to see you. The second question you should probably ask is, what do I need to know about registration? This is the one you're probably worried about most because you're either in the process of doing it or you're about to be in the process of doing it. Here's two things you really ought to know about registration. The first is that it's online. It's very self-help. And if you have mechanical problems with registration, meaning you should be able to register but you can't, you go to register at your appropriate time and no courses come up, you're blocked from a class and you have no idea why, those requests should go to Student Affairs as quickly as possible. They're really probably the only people who can actually do you any good because they're the only ones who probably actually understand the registration system. Now, the other thing which leads to how should you approach registration, which is that you should figure out what 3 courses, that's the normal course load here at Korbel, as I think you know, that you really would like to take. May I suggest, however, that you also have a couple others handy for reasons I'm about to explain. The other thing to do is to get in the habit of registering as close as possible to your actual registration time. A lot of faculty members actually will give you 5-10 minutes to step out of class if you need to go ahead and get your registration in. The reason for this is the second thing you ought to know about registration. The registration system here is based on a priority number. Priority numbers go up the longer you're here. This is a phenomenal idea for lots of reasons. The most prominent one being it lets second-year students, as they get closer to graduation, have the best chance of getting the courses they need. The downside, as I think you probably just figured out, is that as you as an incoming student have the lowest priority number you will ever have. Which means that while there may be classes that you'd like to take in fall and winter that are simply full before you get here. This is not a huge problem. In fact, let me put this very succinctly. Don't panic. You have 6 quarters, not 4 semesters, to get all your core requirements in. And as we'll discuss in a minute, very few of them are sequenced or prereqed or anything like that. You will have no problems if you arrive as a security student and end up taking a couple electives in fall or even a couple electives in winter, as long as you track what you're going to need to do with your second year, because your priority number is only going to go up, and we offer almost all the core requirements at various times across both of those 2 years. So again, you arrive, you're enthused, you have 3 classes you want to take, and you can't do that. This is okay. Don't panic. We'll work it out. Now, the other good news for you, the security student, is that 2 of the courses you have to take, fall and winter of your first year here, If you're a winter admit, it's a little different, but we can discuss that individually. Is Defense Methods and Analysis 1, which is going to change its name before you see this probably to Defense and Security Methods, and Defense Methods and Analysis 2, which is probably going to change its name to Defense and Security Quantitative Analysis, but it doesn't really matter because here's the good news. We reserve a seat for every incoming fall student in Defense Methods and Analysis 1, and we reserve a seat for every single student who needs the course in Defense Methods and Analysis 2. So 2 of your first 6 classes are already pretty much reserved and you're going to get in. So now we're really talking about you might have to take an elective here or an elective there. So again, you'll be good. Now, this usually then leads to, is he telling the truth about that whole, there are no prereqs, and am I going to get through the program? Yes, I am. Mostly. The exception is there's something called advanced topics classes. They're unique to the security program, and they do have prerequisites. You will need to think about, particularly if you're interested in our Washington program or our Geneva program, which are great programs you should look into, or you get an internship that is going to actually take place during an academic quarter in fall or winter of your second year. You may have to pay attention to when you take your advanced topics class, usually titled, sophisticatedly, Advanced Topics, something, 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 something. Because they do have prerequisites. You can't just walk in and take them. But here's the really, really good news. The prereqs are those otherwise already previously mentioned reserved classes, DMA 1 and DMA 2. So unless you're on some really unique schedule, you should be able to take your advanced topics classes starting like the 3rd or 4th quarter here, which will give you multiple shots at them. There's one offered every quarter. You should be fine in that regard as well. Almost all the other courses in the security program, and in fact, of course, the Korbel curriculum as a whole, have no sequencing. Very few prerequisites. In fact, I'm not even sure I can think of one in the security program that has this issue. The other advantage is with advanced topics classes is you can do an SRP, a substantial research paper, or a master's thesis, which are forms of independent study here at Korbel, and opt out of your advanced topics class. So you have even more flexibility. Now, I could rattle on about all kinds of other things that you might want to know, but that would defeat the entire purpose of Joy of Discovery. And it would keep the second years from giving you false information just to see what happens. And we wouldn't want that now, would we? Let me just say this. You're going to arrive at the Korbel School to find that we're really serious about the flexibility thing. And we're really serious about the personalization thing. And we're really pretty serious about trying to be as helpful as we possibly can. You're going to meet a lot of nice folks and really quality professional folks in admissions and in the Office of Career and Professional Development and Student Affairs to help you get through the process. The faculty are really excited to have you here in class so we can help prepare you to make some contribution to national or international or global security in the future. And if there's ever a question, a comment, a concern, or anything else, just find me. Contact information is on the website. Happy to get back to you at any point in the future. So other than that, enjoy planning to come here. We look really forward to meeting you when you get here, and I'm sure you'll have more questions, which will keep me in job security. Look forward to meeting you in person.